Got it.
Got it.
Got it. So, yes, that means we are live, which is fantastic. I've got to make sure that's muted. Okay, there. Great. Welcome. Running just a tiny bit late today. I kind of look like I'm always running late right now. But yeah, welcome.
There's an easy fix for that. Just always wear a hat.
Exactly. That would be one way, but then it would tamp down the luscious curls. So this is Next Level from Level with Emily. I host the podcast. I'm Emily, and Sam Keenan produces the podcast. That's Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Hello. And we just get together once a week and talk about the upcoming episode. This week, we're featuring a conversation largely about a Netflix show, which is interesting because I hear from folks over at Netflix from time to time to interview composers about their shows, which is fun. I love that. And so this week is an interview with a composer named Peter Chapman about a show called Workin Moms, which is filmed in Toronto, which is very cool. So Sacha's from Toronto. Hi, Sacha. So that's one of the cool things about the show. And that's what's coming up later this week. Peter Chapman. He also has done games. So we don't just talk about the Netflix show Workin Moms. We talk about his music for Guacamelee, which he did both the Guacamelee games, 1 and 2, which are wonderful platforming games. And my closest homies know I'm a terrible platformer. So I have some funny Guacamelee horror stories, but I loved the game and the music is fantastic. So we talked about that too. Russian Subway Dogs, awesome soundtrack that he did. But just a really neat guy who's done a lot of cool music and a lot of fun projects. And so it was a really fun conversation. Like I really thoroughly enjoyed chatting with Peter Chapman. So that's what's coming up this week. And Sam, what do you think of all those things I just said?
Yeah, it's a fun show this week. Peter is a very personable person, and it makes the conversation nice, and it was cool. And the music's different. It's, as you know, game music can be anything. So it doesn't necessarily sound like it's not for a game, but
right, yeah.
Except for the fact that there's a lot of vocals in the tidbits that are in the show, and it's got some really fun kind of hip hop-ish vibes to it, and I really liked that project that he did that you talk about a bit, where he did those mashups of Beastie Boys with
Daft Science
samples from Daft Punk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was really fun, and not to swear, but the
oh, you can, yeah.
But yeah, it's just I think that's a really interesting kind of frontier of music in general, is mashups and combinations, because there's been 100 years of recorded music, and there's so many things that fit together in so many ways, and there's a surprising little of that, really. There's a lot of it, but just in general, in terms of big pop culture stuff, you don't see a ton of it. And I don't know why that is, but maybe it's because people don't know a lot of, the history of recorded music, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. And also, I mean, so basically what Peter did, and this was many years ago now, and it took like 3 or 4 years before it went viral. But basically what he did, he was bored in an airport waiting on layover. And the Beastie Boys at the time, I don't know if they still do, I didn't look, but they had put all their stems up. They put out like all their vocals up, and they're like, remix our music, go for it. And there are artists that have done that in the past. I can't think of any now, but I know that it's happened. And Björk has done it, right? I mean, she's like, here, remix my shit. And so that's not unheard of. But what he did is he took those Beastie Boys stems and then he remixed them only using the Daft Punk samples from Daft Punk music. So you can hear, I love how you can just hear it. You're like, oh my God, that sounds it's totally Daft Punk underneath the Beastie Boys, but it's just so cool. So yeah, I mean, we might as well listen. I don't know why I haven't even played any of it yet, but let's. I tried to get a couple different tracks in there just because I think it's so cool. But Peter Chapman did this project under his another name of his pseudonym Coins, which is like, handful of coins of money or whatever. And
Right.
so
a little more than 50 cents.
Yeah. Just coins. They're all pound coins or something. Or Canadian coins, I should say.
They've got the queen on them.
Yeah, I was watching this King of the Hill episode, and one of the bullies was beating up a kid for putting a Canadian quarter in his lunch money on King of the Hill. Oh God, it's so classic. But anyway, yeah, here's one. Here's some. Let's see. Ooh, I gotta fix so that you can hear it. Here you go.
All you techies and TV addicts, don't mean to diss, don't mean to bring static. All you Klingons in the fucking house, grab your backstreet scream and get loud. Blowing doors off hinges, grab you with the pinches. And no, I didn't retire, snatch it off with the needle nose pliers. Like me, you la Omaha, with the info you never seen before. Glide in the glaze, like gold beat, like a.
It's just so good. It's so good. Here's another. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that Beastie Boys, signature kind of energy style thing has become kind of classic in and of itself, but it's just it works so well over those cool synth sounds,
Yep. Here's more. This is the first track. This is Alive and Intergalactic. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I wish I could take those recordings and bring them back to little skater me when
right?
I was the little kid listening to License to Ill and stuff. That would have blown my mind.
I know. So then it makes more sense when you hear his music for Workin' Moms. Like, he's a really he's a talented composer, which obviously, but I mean that in that if I were to play you his Guacamelee music only and then tell you about Daft Science, you'd be like, what? But or the other way around, right? But then you hear his mariachi for Guacamelee and you're like, holy shit. It's very authentic, but Workin' Moms fits more along that kind of Coins vibe of him doing this hip hop kind of stuff. So here's there's some, the thing about TV music is it's so rarely released, right? So there is a SoundCloud with some of the snippets from the music from the earlier seasons of Workin' Moms, and then they provided me stuff for Friday's show, but none of it's been released commercially. So, but anyway, here's some stuff that's on SoundCloud.
What will you find at Macy's
backstage? SoundCloud, I hate you so much right now. Oh my God, I hate you so fucking much. No, that's another reason you're not getting my $10 right there every month. Sorry, it's gonna be like 20 more seconds of that before I can play it for you.
Wow.
How unprofessional.
Well, I don't know what that was, but I really feel like going to Macy's right now. I don't know.
Getting your mom some perfume for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Oh God. Here's another 30-second ad. So
wow, not skippable.
Not skippable, but
on SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud, yeah. But here's the other thing that I neglected to mention that's very important about his Workin' Moms music is that he collabs with a musician named Maylee Todd, who also is Canadian, but she moved to LA. Unlike Peter and his family still live in Toronto, but yeah, Maylee is a really great singer, and so he samples her voice a lot, but also she just adds to a lot of the tracks. So when you hear voice, it's Maylee Todd. So All right, let me see if I can figure this out. It's not going to sound pretty because I'm going to have to like turn it up and then turn it down immediately. Okay, here, let's try this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just little boop. Oh, Sam, there's a question for you in the chat.
Timothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how that started actually was when in the early days of Level, after Emily and I started that iteration of our show, I used to be there during the interviews, and I'd have to sit quietly while she did the interviews and also did her voiceovers and stuff for the intro and the outro. And so since I was there, she would say hi, Sam, and I would go hi from across the room. And then when we started doing our production separately, that tradition just hung on. So I think I don't know if there's been an episode without it, but
I don't think there has.
There's
It's so funny. It's in my voice track. Like I have a template for intro and outro, and then whatever the intro is the intro, but the outro is pretty much the same for every single episode, more or less.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
and it's just in there. So I mean, I just can't imagine not being like, say hi, Sam. It's always there.
It's just become a tradition. But we've been talking for a long time about putting together a compilation of all those, but it's getting to be a lot of work at this point to even do that. But and we lost some multi-track sessions of early episodes, which is kind of a bummer. So they would have to have the music underneath them and stuff like that. But that's probably more of an answer than you wanted.
Yeah, we have lost stuff. We've both had hard drive failures before, like we were able to afford the ability to have backups and stuff. So like it's like, we've lost some stuff, and I probably haven't even heard half of them. That's the funniest part. Like, cause I send it to you and then you send it back and I post it, so it's like, I don't even know. You could be going like, go fuck yourself, Emily, every time. I wouldn't even know.
I should sometime.
Yeah, you totally should.
No, that's the other thing about it is like I assume for the most part that people, when they hit the outro of a podcast, just skip it.
I know. I kind of assume that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I figure that little Easter egg maybe is enough for people to keep listening to the end. Probably not, but
who knows? I always think, I should listen, and no, that's funny. But I do want. It would be fun to do a compilation of. I mean,
yeah.
But like you say, each week that goes on that we don't do that makes it harder.
It makes it hard. You got to like open every session, pull out that audio, bring it into another one.
Yeah.
Just for a gag. But I don't know. Maybe we'll work up to doing that at the 500th show or something.
See, Timothy says he listens every time because of that, and I love that. I'm so glad.
Well,
yeah.
I feel like they've been less creative in the last, like, I don't know, 6 months or so. But
step up your game, man.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where they got a little out of hand, and then like it started going back to just weird highs and stuff like that. And yeah,
wasn't one like some conversation with your sister with Gina? Wasn't there one where it was like just you talking to Gina about something?
Yes. Yeah, I was trying to get my sister to do the high.
Oh.
But she wouldn't. And it was just funny because I was recording the conversation as I'm trying to get her to do it, and she's like, no, and I don't know. Yeah, that was a good one.
Amazing. I love that. That's really funny. Yeah. Yeah. The hellos. So that's that. That's something fun we do. I've known Sam since 2008. Basically early 2009 is I think when we first started hanging out. So it's been a minute. Whoa.
This one's for the brave, one's for the bold, one's for the hard-ass motherfucker. Oh my. This one's for the brave, this one's for the bold, this one's for the hard-ass motherfucker. This one's for the brave, this one's for the bold, this one's for the hard-ass motherfucker. This one's for the brave, this one's for the bold, this one's for the hard-ass motherfucker.
That was a serendipitous error on my part to go on that, but that worked as a good segue. So that's more from Peter Chapman and Maylee Todd. And, you know, the show, I watched a little bit of it, you know, and I liked it a lot. It's about working moms, which I am not. I work, but I am not a mom. So, you know, a lot of that kind of humor, it just doesn't, I mean, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm sure that's what it's like to be you. But there are some things about the show that I really did resonate with, some family dynamic stuff. And plus it's filmed really well. And one of the things that I was talking to about Peter is how they just do a really good job of like showing Toronto as a neat downtown city, you know, which is fun. So I liked that about it too. I didn't get too far into the seasons, and I guess it gets pretty crazy at the end, but it's just funny and fun. And he talks a little bit about like the production cycle, and because again, it's like we don't usually have TV people on. Now, someone like Jason Graves, he's done a ton of television, but I don't talk to Jason about television, you know? So it's not like we don't have people who know how to do TV on the show, but it's just fun to hear about that cycle of production and what that's like to be a composer for, you know, a really successful show like Workin' Moms. And he does a couple other really successful shows that I can't remember the name. One is called The Lake, which is confusing because there's also a game called The Lake, but it's not that. And then there's, I think, some kind of like, I'm going to get it wrong, so I'm not even going to guess. But he does other successful TV as well. So, yeah, it was just fun to hear him talk about that, too, and what that grind is like, because it's definitely a grind. So, yeah. So that was a little bit.
Yeah, I had a talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a chance to talk to Jason Graves when he was in town the other week, and I was asking him about working doing music for TV, because that is an interesting whole other thing.
Yeah.
You know, games can be like a big giant pile of music and all this integration and that kind of stuff, and movies are like a one shot or whatever. But the ongoing TV thing is just an interesting way to make music for video. And I remember when we were out one time and hung out with Jack Wall.
Oh, that was when he was doing TV with
Yeah, he showed us his little studio setup and kind of process for doing, I forget what show he was doing, but
but I think he was kind of ghostwriting, so we probably shouldn't say what.
Okay, yeah. So some show we shouldn't mention, I guess. Was the reboot of the A-Team. But that's just cool. That's just really it's just another interesting, side of working composers, and there's a lot of kind of fun that goes into that, having a go-to palette and a way to quickly kick out stems for the producers and all that stuff.
Yep, TV gotta be lightning fast.
I
don't know if you ever were around when Holly and I would play Guacamelee together. Were you ever?
I don't remember ever seeing that.
Yeah. I would usually just get really mad from dying in ridiculous ways and not making the right exact perfect double jump or whatever. But Holly loved it. And they made a second one. It's a great game. But yeah, that was really fun to talk to Peter Chapman about too, his Guacamelee experience and like learning how to write mariachi, which is a super specific, right? I mean, there are things that have to happen in order for it to be mariachi music. So that was fun to talk to him about. He co-wrote that with a fella named Ram Prisco, although I think they did their own, so that was a track that Peter did, and then Ram did tracks, I don't think they co-wrote, as it were. But that was pretty fun. And they also had the mariachi entertainment system on the second one, Guacamelee 2, which is a VGM mariachi cover band, which is pretty great. And I want to have them on sometime soon, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, Guacamelee. Here's some fight music from it. But I think one of my favorite things that I discovered about Peter was the Russian Subway Dogs soundtrack, and I only got one track in the show, if I remember right. Here's the main theme for Russian Subway Dogs. Good.
Yeah, you can hear the hip hop influence in this too.
Yeah, big time. Well, this he wrote under his name Coins. Well, it says Peter Chapman, aka Coins, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just that style of putting the drums forward like that.
Yep.
But play more. I didn't mean to interrupt it.
Yeah, it's just so creative and so good. I love it.
Yeah, you could rap over that.
I used to, way back in the day. Yeah. Good stuff, Peter Chapman. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was fun to talk to. I liked it. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I hope we'll have him on again. Just he seems to do a lot of really interesting things, which is fun. So, and check out Workin' Moms if you think, like I said, I, not being a working mom, was skeptical.
Working cat mom. Sacha says.
Cat mom. Yes, exactly. Yes, Sacha. Yes, thank you for seeing me.
You feel seen.
I feel seen. No, but yeah, she's sleeping right over there right now. I can see her through the crack of the soundboards. But yeah, what more do you want to say about our chat with Peter Chapman?
I guess that's all I got.
Yeah,
it's a fun one. It's worth checking out for sure. And I like the branching out and hearing what other things some of these video game composers are up to, like that jazz record we got into a couple weeks ago, and
Lennie Moore,
all that kind of thing. I think it's cool to see what else people are doing,
Mm-hmm. There's another question for you in the chat. Yes.
Something's forward in the mix. Do you just mean it's louder? Yeah. I mean, it's what I meant that time was louder, but sometimes it also means like, if you put reverb on stuff, it'll kind of sound like it's getting farther away. And when it's drier and in the center of a mix, it'll like sit right in front of your face and seem like it's forward. So you can use reverb and EQ and panning to move things around in like almost a 3D space, even with stereo. So that's and hip hop tends to have the drums like right in your face, and they tend to be pretty dry, and the hi-hat's often too loud. But
I don't recall him asking your opinion on the hi-hat in hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah, but I have a tendency to mix drums too loud because I was big into the hip hop and R&B and electronic music in the 90s. So I've got an aesthetic taste for that sort of thing. Whereas a lot of rock and rollers and other styles tend to like their drums to be quieter and washed out and not have the kick drum thumping you in the chest, you know?
Mm. Good answer. Yeah. All right. Well,
it's fun answering questions, though. Sorry, I just
know.
interrupted you again, but it's fun answering
that's okay.
questions. I like the questions. It makes me
I know.
think.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that we're getting questions. That's the whole idea. We are, pardon me. I'm sorry. We are having a listening party for patrons.
Yeah.
And we are going to record it. I didn't record the first one, but I'm going to record the second one. I doubt we'll put it on YouTube just because we're going to be playing full tracks. So
Right.
I'll probably
Patreon?
it'll probably be exclusive content on Patreon.
Content.
But that's going to be a really fun opportunity for patrons to, bring a track or two of whatever you're listening to currently, or, I mean, I guess you could bring something that's been a favorite for life. You can bring whatever you want. What the hell do I care? And we'll listen to it and chat about it. And that is going to happen is that the 27th, did I say? Let me pull up my calendar. I think it's Saturday the 27th.
At noon Central.
Yep, from noon to 2. There it is. My Gmail calendar has been doing this weird thing, and it happens no matter what browser I'm on, where the calendar won't load all the way. Like half my stuff will show up. But if I double click on a date to add something, the rest shows up then. So I almost got burned by that a couple times with some work shifts, which is really scary. So now I just have to do this weird thing where I open my calendar and automatically double click on a day just to make things show up. That doesn't seem very, I don't know, efficient, Google. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's so it didn't show up right away. But on the 27th, noon to 2 Central, we're UTC -5. We're 6 hours behind the UK right now, but that changes. So yeah, we'd love to have you there. And that'll be on Discord. That'll be happening in the patron chat in Discord. If you are a patron and you don't have access to that for some reason, just let us know. We'll make it happen. We'll get you in there. So yeah, all right. Stay tuned for Peter Chapman's episode coming up this Friday. Yeah, and I'm Emily. That's Sam. And find us on Discord. That link is in the show notes. All of those good things, anything you could possibly need, hopefully, is down in the show notes. And if it's not, just send us a message and we'll figure it out.